And we're back. It's another episode of Reliving the Lights, a Friday Night Lights rewatch podcast. I am your host, Josh Kuipers.
Hey, I'm your other host, Anthony Hookman.
And we are back to talk with you all about Friday Night Lights, specifically episode 13 of season 2 this week.
Humble Pie.
Humble Pie, yeah. But we've had some changes since the last time we talked. Anthony, you have a very different backdrop going on for recording. Before we get to that, I want to talk about your T-shirt.
Sure. Yes.
At WrestleMania, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I gotta admit, that's Shawn Michaels. I was gonna say I don't know who the other guy is, but it's just early Shawn Michaels. So actually, I think that was probably the WrestleMania I started on, or maybe I started on 13.
Started with 13. Yeah, because you watched the match with Stone Cold and Bret Hart with the bleeding
fantastic.
Out. Yeah,
maybe still the best match I've seen. So
started on a real high.
Yeah. But yeah, great T-shirt, but I also like the looks of what you got going on behind you. So what's new in the Hookman Iverson household?
Yeah. So, it's a whole new household.
Right.
We moved about 45 minutes closer to you.
Step in the right direction. Don't get too close though. You might end up in Iowa.
Yeah. I don't want to do that.
No.
Yeah. We made our move to Sioux Falls. Pretty excited about it. We've got our stuff probably about 60% unpacked. Yeah. We moved on Monday. Today we're recording this on Friday, and then I've been working since Wednesday again. So yeah, it is. It's been quite a deal. I hate moving a lot.
Moving is the worst, the absolute worst.
So I'm glad to be in the spot that we're in right now, because now it's just like I got those books out of boxes yesterday and put them on the bookshelf. That's pretty easy.
Yeah, right. You did post a picture, or maybe you Snapchatted, I think it was, the display books on the top of your bookshelf. Yes. Maybe just run us through those, because I thought that was an excellent selection of books.
Yeah, so we've got, on top of the bookshelf, I've got 3 books that I think display that need to be more heavily displayed. So they have the
yes.
So we've got something that, if you follow me on Twitter, you've heard a lot about this or read a lot about this. The Billboard Book of Number 1 Hits. It's
just a plethora of knowledge. Really, like, it's pretty great.
A reference book of every song that ever hit number 1 on the Billboard charts between the beginning and the summer of 2003, which I'm guessing is when this was published. Yep. This is the 5th edition I have come across. At the same place I found this, I found the 3rd edition and 4th editions.
Wow.
But they're from like the 90s. It's the same book. It just stops at different spots, earlier spots.
Yeah,
so
that makes sense.
This, to my knowledge, is the last one that was ever published, which is a true shame, because I would love for this to go further into our high school years.
Yes. That would be the sweet spot for us, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with the reemergence of the Eve 6 guy, kind of bringing up all of that era of music on Twitter, he has been, it's got my interest even more in our high school days.
Just to give you a little bit of trivia, so this ends June 28th, 2003. What do you think the number 1 song is on June 28th, 2003?
So I would have been that would have been the summer after my sophomore year of high school. I'm going to say something by Sean Paul.
Very close. He did have a couple of songs before. It was This Is the Night by Clay Aiken, a song that I do not know.
I don't know any Clay Aikens. Like, if you asked me to name a Clay Aiken song, I wouldn't be able to do it. So
I could name at least one.
I could name the Spam-A-Lot soundtrack. I think we've talked about that before on this podcast. I saw Clay Aiken in Spam-A-Lot. That's about it. So
but yeah, literally 2 songs before that was Get Busy by Sean Paul on May 10th, 2003 for 3 weeks.
Nice. So, I just thought back to, I believe I was working for the State Highway Department that summer. No, that's too early. But anyway, Sean Paul, he was a big summer hits guy.
For sure. Recently kind of has had a bit of a resurgence. He was on that Sia song, and he seems like he's kind of, I don't know if he's coming back, but anyway, next up on the display is So Far by Kelsey Grammer, an autobiography written by Kelsey Grammer. I believe this is from 1995, November 1995.
beautiful. Just the cover itself is fantastic. We got Frazier there standing in his jeans and a blazer with a white t-shirt on underneath, Hayden's in the pockets. He's still in his little bit of like he's got his bald on top, but then like the little bit of curls hanging down on the bottom, skullet, like the real like mid 90s Kelsey Grammer look.
This kind of like Crayola crayon background. Looks like it was drawn on by like a child and he's just standing in front of it.
Yeah.
This really is good. The story behind this book. I think I did snap to you, Josh, at one point.
Yeah.
So this book, when I first moved to Brookings, there was a dope antique store. It's still there. But there was one of the vendors was this guy who just constantly had like a just consistent turnover of amazing records. Like I picked up some gems from this place and they were cheap, like Highway 61 Revisited by Bob Dylan, Paul Simon's Graceland, all 3 Jimi Hendrix albums. Like I probably spent like $500 there on records over the course of the like 6 years that guy was there as a vendor and that I lived there. So I was going to this place a lot. And in the basement, there was always like half-priced records and books, and it was usually just crap. I did pick up, I've got like a novelization of The Empire Strikes Back that I picked up out of there.
Nice.
Just some, like stuff like that. And anyway, this So Far by Kelsey Grammer, this very copy was in that basement, the cellar of Threads of Memories from the first time that I went there up until the last time that I went there. And finally, the last time I went there, I said, you know what? I'm finally buying this. So I bought it for $1. It is now, I don't know if I'll ever read it, but I feel like me and this book were meant to be like, it jumped out at me the first time that I went into that cellar and stayed with me. So now it belongs to me.
I feel like you're destined to read it at some point.
I probably will.
It's just going to happen. Yeah. It's going to hit you. The urge is going to hit you someday and you're going to pick it up and it'll all make even more sense why you were destined for that book.
And then to finish the books on display, we've got the WWF Wrestling, the official book, nice hardcover book from, I believe, 1992.
Wow.
So, there's some really good stuff in here. I'll so the first like several pages is just like a wrestler and here's their profile.
I remember. Who's that guy?
Yeah, that is Erwin R. Shyster, aka IRS. He's the father of Bray Wyatt.
Holy cow. That is why I knew him, but I wasn't putting that together. But that's incredible.
Then, we got, it looks like Roddy Piper. And then there's that big...
That's Bobby Heenan.
Bobby Heenan. Oh, shoot. I saw Big Boss Man beating him up. So, there's commentators. Yeah, you got your managers, Mr. Fuji. And then there's a story about every WrestleMania.
That's awesome.
In here up to that point, etc. The Royal Rumble just happened as we record this. But there's some... it's a pretty cool little book that I recently found in an antique store that is in pristine condition. I'm very, very happy to have found that.
It is. Yeah, definitely worthy of the spots of honor in your book collection. I'm sure you've got other good ones, but those are definitely
the big 3.
Yeah, the big 3. Nice. Yeah. Well, congratulations on the new place. I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
I anticipate that we'll be running into each other a lot more.
I sure hope so.
Instead of like twice a year that we usually see each other pre-pandemic.
Yeah,
it's like twice a year.
Yeah. No, I hope that. We hope to have you guys over for dinner or something when things get returned to normal.
There you go. Someday. So, what do you have to drink tonight for your maiden podcast recording adventure in the new place?
When we moved to Sioux Falls, the first thing I did, like literally after we got moved in, before we even got food, I hadn't even eaten. I told you that story that I skipped breakfast and lunch because I just got so in the zone with the movers and stuff and was in a pretty heavy caloric deficit because I got probably the best workout that I've had in years.
Nice.
Helping the movers move stuff. And I told Angie, I was like, we need to go buy a bottle of champagne and a bottle of scotch to celebrate. So I bought myself a bottle of Lafroig, which is my favorite scotch.
Oh, yeah. I don't know anything about that, but it looks fancy.
It is very, very good. and it's very smoky, which is my jam, or peaty as they say in the Scotch community. So yeah, it's very good. I might switch to wine midway, but yeah, we don't have any of my beer down here because we left it up in Brookings, and I don't know where the Mio is, so I can't do vodka and water, and I don't have any mixer for rum, so we're doing Scotch and possibly wine.
All right, well that's new. We'll see how that affects the podcast itself. I have once again a Sierra Nevada Hazy Little Thing IPA. This was bought for me. We actually saw, like, the only friends that we've seen for the past 9 months. We saw them again last weekend, and they brought some beer and just happened to bring this Sierra Nevada Hazy Little Thing IPA, which you and the listeners know I'm a fan of. So good choice, Edgardo. Thank you for bringing that over. It's going to fuel the podcast tonight. I've got a Sam Adams holiday porter on deck that my mom got me for Christmas, but that's not like, that wasn't the main part of the gift that my mom got me. It was actually these Sam Adams Boston Lager glasses that were actually my dad's, and he was obsessed with them because they like have the laser etching on the bottom so the bubbles come up, and he thought that was the greatest thing ever. So she gave me my dad's old beer glasses, but then got me some beer to put in them. So that's what I got on deck for tonight. So
nice.
So we'll be drinking good. We got good episodes to talk about. I say let's get into it.
Let's do it.
All right. This episode, Humble Pie, like we said, episode 13 of season 2. I'm pulling up the IMDb. It aired the 25th of January, 2008. So right around this time, 13 years ago.
13 years ago.
My goodness.
Right?
Yes.
All just about makes you sick.
I can't hardly believe it. Oh, man. It looks like we got 2 Movie Dude 1 synopses here. So
I am underprepared. It's been like 4 weeks since we last recorded, so I am behind.
Yeah, we're out of rhythm, but
the protocol. Yeah,
we'll have to. We'll rate both of these and see which one holds up better.
Alrighty, here we go. It shows up as 3 on mine because one is duplicated, but the other isn't. I don't know what's going on with the IMDb app.
That's weird.
All right. As the athletic director, it falls to Coach Taylor to find a new girls volleyball coach, and he stops at his own wife, who searches for her newest player. Jason takes a job working for Buddy Garrity, and Smash has some fallout of his own after getting arrested. Tim's given a few days to give back the money he stole while he still makes a play for Lila. This is not great. There was a misplaced, or there was a spot where there should have been a comma in the second sentence, and you probably noticed me read it weird because
it looked like that Jason was taking a new job working for Buddy and Smash.
Yes. Which I'd watch that show.
Yeah. Smash Garrity Motors. That'd be quite the workplace. So it wasn't very well written, but at the same time, it was at least coherent.
That's true.
Which for Movie Dude 1 is, a step in the right direction for sure. Let's see how he did with the second one. Maybe he wanted another crack at it.
All right. Tyra feels left out and feels compelled to come between Landry and his new love interest. Julie feels left out as Tyra bonds with Julie's mother over volleyball. Smash gets left out as he loses his scholarship with TMU over his legal problems, citing not the problem itself, but his attitude surrounding the events, while Matt feels like he gets left all the time and loses focus on his life. There's way too many commas in that sentence, the second sentence.
See, now once again, this was so forced, but at the same time, like, they really are all experiencing feeling left out.
Yeah, like, he definitely, he can read those themes out of the show, but it's like he just can't quite verbalize it very well.
And yeah, once again, that was a two sentence synopsis. Even though
he did 3 sentences for the first one.
Yeah, and it was slightly more coherent. So, all right, if you had to pick between the two, what do you lean towards?
I guess the first one.
Yeah.
Just because it feels less forced. It's 3 sentences. He doesn't feel like he needs to limit himself to 2 sentences. He doesn't throw out a weird comma. Several weird commas. I think one of those commas from the second one should have been moved into the first one.
Yeah, maybe it just kind of found its way down there over time.
I'm going to say a 7 for the first one and like a 4.5 for the second one.
Okay. I like 7 for the first one. I would have gone not quite as low on the second one because I am giving him credit for pulling out the themes. Do we need the themes in the synopses? I don't know. I think you just need to tell us what's going on. But yeah, so I'd say like a 7 and a 6, but we both agree that the first one is probably the way to go. For sure. All right. So this episode starts off. Street and Herc are at old buddy Garrity Motors there. What was the car's name or the pickup's name? I don't remember. It's like old Bessie or old Beauty. I think old Bessie like that sounds right. That's ringing a bell. So, but it's Street's pickup. Yeah, it used to belong to Herc. Yes, I didn't realize that Herc had sold him his old pickup. But anyway, it is in rough shape. The transmission's shot. It's going to cost $4,000 to $5,000 to fix it, and it comes out in the process of talking with the mechanic that this has been a known issue since. Yeah, he told Herc years ago. Yep, that this needed to be fixed. Yep. So Street kind of loses his mind on Herc a little bit, goes after him. They have a physical altercation right there in Garrity Motors. But old buddy comes along. And he breaks it up. Yep. He breaks it up and has a little proposal for Jason because Jason's pretty torn up because he's not going to be able to afford these repairs. So he's got a proposal. Yeah. Jason, you ever think about selling cars? Just like that. And when he said it to me, that kind of makes sense. I feel like Jason Street could sell a car, and we find out later whether he can or not. But in the moment I was like, yeah, there you go. I feel like you could do this, man. Yeah. Back at the liquor store, Tim is coming out with a 6er, and who pulls up but Guy and his weirdo friends. I put his weird looking friends. Yep. Yeah. They're all very rough looking dudes. Yeah. They all look like they are at on the way to a Leonard Skinner concert in 2021. Pandemic aside, later day. Yeah. Weird. Anyway, Guy says, hey, y'all, we're all going hunting. Why don't you come? And Tim's like, I want to spend as little time around this guy as possible. Doesn't really know for sure if he knows that the money's missing or that Tim took it. But it becomes very clear he's being really passive aggressive, and things get really tense. Mm-hmm. And eventually, Guy headbutts him, throws the old Glasgow kiss there, as Drew McIntyre would call it, and not only that, but breaks a beer bottle over Tim's head. Yeah, which is getting pretty hardcore, and he wants to know where the money is immediately. Yeah, tells him he's got till the end of the week to get the money, or a guy will shoot Tim's knees off. Wow, I missed that little tidbit. That's aggressive. Well, I guess breaking a beer bottle over someone's head and headbutting them is pretty aggressive too. But yeah, the police show up to the Smash household, and they are looking to arrest Smash for assault. Mama Smash is confused and wildly upset, obviously, for good reason. But yeah, they take Smash in handcuffs out of the house and take him down to the station. All right, so after the opening credits, which are all here, We kick off the episode proper with a pretty disturbing sight. Gracie. We start right off with Gracie in her jammies, and she looking weird as ever. Coach has indicated that he doesn't know where she came from, and it's I always joked about her being an alien, but I think we're coming up with some real hard evidence that. So anyway, pretty disturbing start to the episode, but things move along from there. Coach is desperately in need of a volleyball coach. Coach, as the athletic director, is in need of a volleyball coach. So he's working on Tammy a little bit.
Yeah. He basically says, "Hey, who'd be a really good volleyball coach? You." And then kind of just proceeds to act as if she agreed to it.
Yeah. She's very resistant to the idea at first. My favorite line in the whole thing was Coach saying, "Did you not just tell me that you needed more exercise?" Like, he's laying it on here. Tammy doesn't seem very enthused, but she does seem to be considering. But Coach gets a call to go see Smash at, I thought it was the police station. Was it not the police? But then they don't show him.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's got to go. But on the way out the door, he thanks Tammy and tells her she's a good woman on his way out.
Back to Gurney Motors. Jason Street is officially being introduced by Buddy as the newest salesman. His coworkers are not very welcoming.
No, they are not. Somebody makes the remark that they're having a hard time selling cars anyway, and now they got to compete with a guy in a wheelchair. So doesn't seem like a very healthy team environment.
No, not at all.
Which, with Buddy as your leader, I guess I'm not completely surprised.
You can't expect anything better
it's
than that.
A little bit toxic workplace. But then we do see Mama Smash, and Coach in a meeting with the lawyer, with Smash's lawyer.
Yeah, I had why is Coach at the meeting with the lawyer?
I had that question multiple times throughout the episodes.
True.
Why is Coach there? Why did they call Coach for this? So no, that does not make sense.
But they discuss a plea deal, and Smash gives a little press conference about the incident. Basically just says, what I did was wrong. I apologize. I messed up, etc.
Yeah. Put it completely on himself. Didn't make any excuses. He did not want to do this. He was very hesitant to this idea, but it seemed like the best way to, salvage his future and salvage the season for the football team. So that's what he does. We see Landry. Yeah. Landry is studying with a very nerdy girl, Jean, which is also a nerdy name.
Yeah.
Jean.
She's got kind of half-assed white girl dreads.
Yeah, and bleached white girl dreads. I'm not sure what.
But it's exactly I don't even think they're all dreads. She's got 4 or 5 dreads.
Yeah, it's more like she just hasn't washed her hair for a couple months.
Yeah.
Maybe she's on her way to trying to have dreads, but
yeah, that could be.
White people can't really have natural dreads. That's not how how the hair works. So I don't know. She's trying real hard, basically, to have this certain look.
Right.
But they're studying, and as they're studying, Tyra comes, plops herself down next to Landry, and asks a question about homework.
Yeah, she needs help with a question from a quiz or something.
Yeah. And Jean answers the question, and this does not go over very well with Tyra. Tyra starts feeling very territorial over Landry at this point.
Yeah, Tyra is very clearly annoyed and is kind of wow, thank you, Landry.
Yeah, which was not even real. I was going to say passive aggressive, but not even really passive aggressive. It was bordering on just straight blatant aggression. So Tyra's not a fan of Jean. We can tell right away. Lila is at church, and let me tell you, they're getting down at the church. They are having themselves a service.
Yeah. I told as this scene, and please don't take offense to this.
Yeah.
as a worship leader, but like
this is not my style.
I turned to Angie and I was just like, ugh. Like, this just gives me like PTSD for like just a brand of Christianity that I do not subscribe to.
Yeah.
Leave it at that.
It's pretty over the top. The worship song that they were singing, I just wanted to make a note that the subtitles were very wrong and not the lyrics to that song, because that song back in 2000 was definitely a jam back then.
Wow.
They were doing it in a very over the top style that I never did that song as. But yeah, anyway, the subtitles were wrong with that song, and they were wrong with the other song that they played. So whoever wrote the subtitles, not an evangelical Christian, I think it's safe to say.
Wow. All right.
They don't know those songs.
Somebody's feeling judgy.
We just said that is not the brand of Christianity that we are interested in.
I know.
But Tim walks in the middle of this Jesus jam they got going on, and he is all beat up and looking tough.
Looking real rough, like just wearing like a pearl button up, pearl snap button up.
Yeah, the classic rigs of the pearl snaps, but unbuttoned partway down and all that.
And he walks up, finds Lila, who luckily is sitting in an aisle seat. Would have been real embarrassing if she wasn't. And he tells Tyra about the $3,000 and tells Lila that he's got something important to tell her. She's like, I'm not interested. Basically, like, screw off. Like, we're starting a new hymn here. Like, you got to go. Right. Or probably not hymn, a worship song. Sorry. And he's like, promise, I won't leave until you promise me that you'll come over. And she's like, fine. She reluctantly agrees.
Yes. And then as Tim leaves, they begin to sing literally my least favorite worship song of all time. So, Tammy, meanwhile, coaching volleyball. I don't know what day this church meeting was on. Again, the timeline gets very messy in Dillon sometimes.
Yeah, that could have been maybe like a Sunday evening, or the only other day that makes sense to me is Wednesday, but who knows?
I guess they weren't ever in school yet. I just assumed.
They were. They were, because that's where Tyra.
Right.
So maybe it's just like a weird Monday night worship service.
Yeah, something.
Or any other night of the week, who knows?
Right. So Tammy is coaching volleyball. Apparently, Eric roped her into it. Coach Taylor put on the old coach charm and made it happen. And the team is bad. They're not good. Quite bad.
Also, Tim is there for some reason.
Yeah, is he like still serving a punishment or something? Because he was like an athletic manager for a while or something, because he was helping out at the gymnastics meet and Guy was there and all that. But so he's still serving that, or serving time for that or something. I loved the look on Tim's face as the volleyball team was absolutely sucking. Tim just looked absolutely mortified by how bad they were. Like, it was disturbing him to even witness it. So Tim's there. He's basically shagging balls for the volleyball team, and they are bad.
Back at Garrity Motors, Jason executes a successful sale.
Yeah, he just gets right in there.
Some customers who were there to buy that day, they knew what they wanted and they found it and got it. And his coworker is pissed. Yeah. She steals his sale based on the point system that she explains to him.
Yeah, he's low man on the totem pole, so she's not very happy and tries to come up with some bogus system that they have.
We don't know it's bogus at the
time,
right. Though, as the audience.
That's right. Although I had my suspicions.
Yeah.
Tyra is over at the Taylors for supper, and Tammy is complaining about the coaching and the team and all that. And Tyra helps out as Tammy is making supper by putting something away in a high cupboard, like the little cupboard over the fridge that most people have to get up on a chair to open. But Tyra just, with her tall self, reaches up there. I gotta know. Yeah, what was going through your mind?
Light bulb. Well, what's going on in my mind? That's for that's for the Patreon content, because I can't talk about that here, but right. But I can tell you what was going through Tammy's mind.
Yeah.
This little light bulb went off.
I'll settle for that.
Tammy somehow just now realizes Tyra is tall.
Which was probably literally the first thing that you yourself ever noticed about Correct. Tyra immediately. But yeah. Well, and Tammy's never had reason to,
but I think it's like, I mean,
she's very tall. She's taller than most of the guys on the show.
Yeah. Tyra I'm trying to think of like anybody that we went to high school with that like was a girl that was really tall. I can't think of anybody, but I feel like we would have been like, oh, that's the super tall girl.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
For some reason, it never dawned on Tammy, but now she's making the connection that Tyra might just be the secret weapon that's needed to get this volleyball team whipped into shape.
Lila lies to the pastor co-host guy whose name that I don't know.
Yeah.
Her little boyfriend.
I would just call him youth pastor in my notes.
Youth pastor.
I don't know if he's actually a youth pastor, but he seems like a youth pastor.
He does. So, yeah. Lila lies to him, tells him that she's got to babysit Buddy Jr.
Yeah. Which, how old's Buddy Jr.? That kid doesn't need a babysitter.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't think so. But but she tells him that that's what she is obligated to do, and she instead, of course, goes over to Tim's.
Yeah, Tim's got a little. Wait, are we there yet?
Oh yeah, he's got a romantic spread going.
Yeah, he's made some chicken. He's got some candles. He's got some flowers on the table.
Yeah.
He's really pulled out all the stops for this one. And so Lila shows up and sees what's going on here and not interested.
Yeah, immediately she is not interested. But Tim says, hey, I got to get something off my chest. And it's that he loves Lila. And Lila tells him that it's never going to happen.
Yep. Yeah, Tim asks for brutal honesty and he gets it. Tim refuses to believe that she does not feel, or that what she has with the youth pastor is real. And he tells her, look into my eyes and say you don't feel the same way I do. And if she could do that, then he'll move on. And she just goes ahead and does it.
Yeah, she does just that. Yeah.
Yep.
We did there was a music cue in there that I did write down. It was Your World by David Shepard Grossman. I don't remember if it was during the Lila and Tim scene or the next scene, which is actually at volleyball practice. Tyra's first day at volleyball practice. She is good, naturally talented, but she's kind of struggling with some of the fundamentals. Tammy tells Tyra to picture something that makes her angry. And that's you make it into the ball, you pound the ball.
Yeah.
I feel like it's implied that she is thinking about Jean, but it's Tim. It's also like implied that she's talking about Tim. Like to me, it seemed like
it would make more sense if it was Jean.
Yeah, because she's not mad at Tim for anything at all.
I mean, would she be from the past? I got to think of how their relationship.
In a relationship, but she ended it. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I thought the same thing at first. Like, oh, she's gonna get mad about the Landry situation.
But they show Tim.
Yeah, she's like hitting it directly at Tim, and then later on, Tammy says,
"Picture Tim." So, like to me, I don't think she has anything to be mad about at Tim. She's like interested in Landry. She's not even interested in Tim anymore.
No, it was weird. I agree. Yeah, it's like they were they didn't need to shoehorn Tim into this role of being on the with the volleyball team.
They really did not. Yeah.
They were trying really hard to do that, but they didn't need to. Although I did appreciate, like I said, that look of horror on his face when the volleyball team was so bad. Yeah. That was good. That was maybe worth it right there. But so yeah, she's mainly thinking about Tim. We're going to assume that there's some aggression towards Jean that is also being channeled into that ball, but she really starts getting some power behind her spikes, and things are looking up. Street is struggling to sell cars now. Yeah. The point system is really taking its toll on him. He's very discouraged. And Buddy asks him, how's it going? How's it going? And Street tells him about the point system, and Buddy's
well, he struggles with this one sale. This guy comes in, he thinks he's got it locked up. This guy's really seems to be not interested. Yeah. Tim says, Street says, well, the point system's really screwing me. And that guy out there, I thought I had him locked up and not interested. And first of all, Buddy tells him that guy out there comes in once a week.
He's a looky-loo.
Old
Gerald the looky-loo.
And he says, yeah, the point system, there's no point system.
Yeah.
So he reveals it to be a lie, and suddenly Street is kind of revitalized.
Well, let's not skip over the fact that Buddy gives a pretty inspiring little talk here. He really talks Jason up at this point. He says Gerald's a looky-loo, the point system, yada, yada, yada. But then he's kind of like, I can't remember exactly what he says, but he's like, you can do this, son. You just figure out what people want and you tell it to them. And I have in my notes, Buddy Garrity inspo rating this week.
Pretty high.
It was impressive. I thought it was a good moment for Buddy. So he talks a little life into Street. Street's going to get after it. Oh, he talked about how it's almost like two-a-days. Like you don't want to do it, but you keep showing up and putting in the work, and then eventually
you realize later on. Yeah.
Yep. So say what you will about Buddy, the man's a salesman, and he knew what it would take to get Jason motivated to sell cars, and he just had to put it into football terms for him and challenge him that way. Friday Night Lights must have owed Applebee's some screen time this week, because there's a lot of stuff that takes place in Applebee's.
A lot of pivotal scenes in Applebee's.
Really didn't need to. And we even started talking. We always have to mention a specific Applebee's dish. Lately, we had the quesadilla burger the other day.
A personal favorite of your own.
Yep, good stuff. This time it was the
sizzling apple
pie. Which I gotta assume that's an actual Applebee's dish. Otherwise,
they wouldn't make it up for the show. No way.
They wouldn't make it.
You're leaving money on the table. You're leaving people. If I go to Applebee's tomorrow and I order a sizzling apple pie, it's not on the menu. I'm gonna be pissed, but I'm not going to Applebee's tomorrow. But also, it's not 2008 anymore. So
right. But I mean, I'd be a little interested in a sizzling. Yeah,
you couldn't just. Yeah. That'd be a bad marketing decision to allow a fake menu item at a real restaurant.
Yeah. So this is kind of our first Applebee's scene. And so they're
turns out that Tyra is their server.
Of course. Like, I thought I initially thought, like, was this intentional by Landry to like?
Yeah. Why would he take her there?
This is a bad idea. Get a clue, Landry. You guys ever heard of the diner where you spend 95% of your time, but apparently everyone is now moved over to Applebee's to hang out?
It doesn't make sense for you to be hanging out at Applebee's at this particular, we've determined that it's a town of roughly at least 50,000 people. Yep. There's got to be another place to take a date than freaking Applebee's.
You could take your study date to the diner, which seems like an obvious choice.
Duh.
You could go to the the recently closed Dairy Queen Alamo
now
Freeze.
Called the Alamo Freeze.
Yeah, but they're still using up all their products. You could take her there. Those are great options. Who studies at an Applebee's?
Yeah. Doesn't make any sense.
Especially when your ex-girlfriend works at this Applebee's. So anyway.
There's got to be a ton of independent restaurants in that town. Like, yeah, for sure, to go to instead of Applebee's to study where your ex-girlfriend doesn't work.
That's kind of the main determining factor.
If I'm Landry and I'm going out with a girl, Applebee's is at the bottom of my list.
Okay, listen, I'm interested in you. I'd like to start dating you, but I have some ground rules. Number one, we're never going to Applebee's. I'm sorry. I don't really want to talk about it, but we're just not going to have any apps. We're not going to have any desserts there. We're not going to get a 2 for $20 entree special.
Sorry about your love for the sizzling apple pie. We just can't chance it.
I know the quesadilla burger is maybe the best culinary experience that a human being can have.
Wow.
No, this isn't me talking.
Okay.
This is a Dillon resident. I gotta assume that Dillon residents are probably pretty high on Applebee's, but
sure. Yeah. Obviously they are. It's always packed in there.
Right.
The folks of Dillon are eating good in the neighborhood, you could say.
Yeah. Buddy goes in there to drink at night. Like, man. Anyway, they're there. Tyra is not being very congenial, not being very professional.
No. I don't remember how she greets them, but when she brings the water back, she slams them down on the table.
Yeah. Probably not getting a great tip on this particular deal. So I don't remember how it comes up. Oh, Gene makes some passing comment about how Landry is wearing a Mayhem shirt, which apparently is what kind of metal band?
Death metal.
Yeah, some specific sort of metal. But she makes the observation that it's weird that he's wearing it because he's in a Christian power metal band. And in my notes, I started writing, they are not a power metal band. They're a speed metal band. Two very different things. And so that gets them going into the influences of
a lot of subgenres of metal.
And now Landry is describing Crucifixtorius as extreme grindcore with heavy thrash influences. So,
but at the same time, Landry gets kind of a look on his face like, whoa, this girl knows her stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He's getting a little interested.
Which we'll see a little bit more of maybe Gene sharing a little bit more common interests, and we'll discuss that when we get there. I think it'll be next episode, but we'll discuss it when we get there.
Yep. So Lila, we get a quick scene of Lila starting to come clean to the youth pastor guy about Tim, and let's just skip ahead to the next part of that scene, even though there's a little smash in between. So Lila and the youth pastor are talking. I think are they mini golfing or?
Yes, they're playing mini golf. Yep.
They're mini golfing, and she kind of tells him what happened, and everything. Her quote is, I know. I slept with my paralyzed boyfriend's best friend. It's the worst thing I've ever done. And I wrote in my notes, I kind of hate that Explosions in the Sky is playing in the background of this scene because these two are the worst. And they don't really deserve. They deserve the Grace Like Rain Peppy Church version soundtrack from earlier. Not the Explosions in the Sky. But the youth pastor guy takes it like a champ. Is very understanding.
I think he's
Mm-hmm. I think that he is actually kind of secretly pumped that Lila has had a sketchy, rough past.
Yeah, I think he's a nice guy who's like, oh, I understand that was the past you, but he's in his mind thinking,
yeah. I hope that's still a little bit current you.
Yeah.
Not with Tim specifically, but yeah, he's a creep.
Yeah. In between those two scenes with Lila and youth pastor, Noelle shows up at the Smash House.
Yeah.
And she apologizes and they talk, and during this, a call comes in on the phone, and we find out that Smash's little sister has been receiving prank calls.
Yeah, like lewd prank calls.
Yeah, though. Which is a pretty bold thing to do in the age of landlines, like just hoping that the person that you want, because like to me, a female voice is a female voice. Like I think if you got Mama Smash instead of Sister Smash, like just hearing a female voice, he probably doesn't know their voices well enough to know.
Yeah, that's true. Anybody could answer that phone, including Smash. No. So obviously that's pretty traumatizing for Noni. She tries to play it off a little bit, but Smash kind of demands to know what's going on, and he is very shook up and angered by the situation, and justifiably so. So Street we're back at the dealership, and old looky-loo Gerald walks in, and man, Jason's feeling pumped up by the Buddy Garrity inspirational, motivational talk. And so he goes right on over there to Gerald.
Yeah. And he's a born salesman. He goes into it.
Yeah. He gives Gerald a real inspirational hard ass talk. And basically I wrote my notes. Like, are you a man, Gerald? Are you going to take life by the horns and wrestle it into submission? Or are you going to be a little sissy? Gerald assures him that he's packing down there, and he's going to go ahead and and buy this a hybrid pickup, I think it was.
Yeah.
In 2007, and I didn't know they were selling hybrid pickup trucks.
It was definitely not the norm.
No. But Gerald goes for it.
I think they also had a contract with Chevy, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that they were pushing the 2008 Silverado hybrid.
Yep. So we had the potential Buddy Garrity inspo rating earlier. I feel like we gotta, put Jason Street up for a little inspo rating this week too. He's real inspirational. He announces to Buddy into the dealership that he has sold a car to Gerald. It's a very triumphant moment.
Yeah, big moment for anybody, let alone the new guy.
Yeah.
Back at Applebee's, everybody's there.
Yes,
everybody in town is at Applebee's.
Is this the same day, or is this a whole separate occasion of everybody being at Apple? I took it as separate, but now I'm not sure. But anyway,
I don't know.
The entire high school, basically, the entire football team.
Well, it's at one table, Landry, Matt Saracen, Gene, and Tim Riggins for some reason are at one table.
Yep.
And then Smash is also there. And then Santiago is also there.
Yep. Santiago has now just become like kind of an ancillary character. Shows up every once in a while. Don't think he was in the last episode at all, but
yeah. But
everybody's there.
The news comes on and they're doing a story about Smash, and Santiago says, "Hey, Smash, you're on TV."
Yeah.
And it's his little press conference, and then it's followed by the rebuttal from the white dude.
Yeah.
Who he punched, who blatantly lies about what happened.
Yep. Calls Smash a thug, and basically that it was unprovoked and all this stuff. Conveniently, a news reporter
right after this clip plays,
tracked Smash down in the Applebee's. I mean, it's a safe assumption, that a high schooler is going to be at Applebee's because that's where the high schoolers are these days.
Yeah.
But timed it perfectly so that right after the news segment gets over, he's there. He starts kind of pressuring Smash with these, hard hitting journalistic questions, and Smash eventually cracks and snaps,
breaks him.
Kind of goes off and says some not smart things to say, like he didn't deserve an apology, and I probably shouldn't have messed him up worse than I did.
Yeah.
That was
his apology.
Yeah. Not good.
And then we kind of see Coach also see this on TV as it's all unfolding. We get kind of a cut to Coach.
Yeah.
Seeing all this news. Yeah.
Not good. Street and Hurt go out to celebrate. The Street's car sale.
Yeah. Street comes home, tells her Cass sold the car, and they decide they're going to go out and celebrate.
Really felt like a little filler scene there. I didn't have much to say about it.
But here's something that's not a filler scene. We got Tim and Billy, and we've got the beer tally.
Oh, you do such a better job at this than I do. I never even noticed that they're drinking beers.
Tim and Billy are drinking beers. We only see one in Tim's hand, but we do see a couple of empties. I only listed one on the tally, but
yep, since they were both drinking, we
they're talking about the stock market.
They are. Man, I must have been distracted.
Yeah, pretty hot commodity. Billy says, well, yeah, one of my, jackass friends from high school, he's doing the stock market, so I could probably make some money in there. Speaking of the stock market, it's kind of been in the news.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Right now, by the time you listen to this, it won't be probably with the whole GameStop thing. And I have gotten kind of inspired. I threw $200 into a couple of marijuana stocks.
Oh.
And one has been, this one I couldn't pass it up because the stock market symbol is YOLO.
Oh my God.
But it's made me a couple bucks over the last couple days.
Yeah.
And then another one is that one's like $26 right now. I think I bought it at like 25. So I've got like almost 4 shares in that, not quite 4. So I've got half myself in that. And then I got this other one, Sundial Growers, that's been kind of obviously a little shaky, but it was. So here's the last 3 months. It went up from 20 cents to $1.20.
Oh wow.
So it's been on a pretty consistent high, and so I bought 100 shares of that.
Nice.
Been seeing. It's been a little up and down, but it's been kind of fun, and it's it's a amount of money that I am okay with. If it completely crashes, then it completely crashes.
You're gonna be okay.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, all these states passing medicinal or recreational marijuana seems pretty safe. As long as they're good businesses, they're gonna pick up. So, yeah.
Anyway, Tim and Billy, they're talking about the stock market, and Tim kind of makes a crack to Billy because he's like, "Oh yeah, your buddies are in it, but you've got a sophomore in high school education. You don't, how are you going to take this? Whatever." And as they're talking about this, there's a knock at the door.
Yeah. Billy grabs the baseball bat,
tosses Tim a 9-iron.
Yep. They are on edge right now, but they open the door. Turns out it's Lila, and she just is dropping off an envelope of cash.
Yeah.
Where did this $3,000 come from?
It's Buddy.
Yeah. But I guess maybe Buddy would be in support of bailing Tim out.
I think that Lila lied to Buddy.
Yeah.
And that's how she got the money.
Buddy's pretty vulnerable right now with his kids because, he wants to stay on their good side.
Yeah. I imagine it's a real Hillary from the Fresh Prince situation where she probably just said Daddy, I need $3,000.
Right. Or somehow turn it against her hippie stepdad.
That also could,
she could really play that angle to get basically anything she wanted from Buddy, I think.
Yeah.
But she's brought off the money to pay off Guy because she doesn't want to see Tim get hurt again. And she also tells Tim that this is it.
She's not coming around anymore.
No, he'll never see her again, basically.
Over at the volleyball game, the team is playing pretty well, but the game is tied. Tammy gives a Coach Taylor-esque speech.
Yeah,
gets them fired up, gives a little inspiration, and Dylan takes our volleyball points to 13 or is it 25 or 15?
It's 50. Well, it depends on what the scoring system is.
I think the game is. I think it's 13-13, and the Panthers end up scoring 2 more, so it's 15. They get to 15.
So in this case, it's 15. But then there's rally scoring, and then there's other. And I know at some point Platt switched to rally. our state or whatever switched to rally scoring. So I remember when that happened, but I don't know how that works. Sure. My mom was a head volleyball coach when I was a kid. And, but yeah, we're seeing a different side of Tammy coming out here. I'm not sure what we think about it. We can maybe get into that later.
Yeah.
But they pull out the win. I have Tammy Taylor inspirating.
Yeah,
man. As the end of the game is going on, it appears that they're not even like setting the ball for Tyra. It's like the other team will hit it 3 times and knock it over back to the Dylan side, and then Tyra will just immediately spike it back.
Slam it, yeah. And she gets like 3 spikes in a row.
Yeah, she's not even. Yeah, she's like a one-woman wrecking crew on the volleyball court, which I don't even think is reasonably possible that people would be just hitting the ball in a way that she is able to spike it directly back.
Yeah. I don't know enough about the game of volleyball, but yeah, I kind of agree.
They pull out the win. They're excited.
We do get a quick shot also at the end of the volleyball game. Julie is looking just kind of snarky in the stands, unimpressed.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. Coach Taylor is there as well. He's pretty excited for Tammy. Yeah. Julie's not excited at all.
The Riggins brothers show up at Guy's house to bring the money, and things get really like, I don't know what Guy's deal is.
He's a creep meth dealer, I think is the main thing.
It's like he's really into like intimidating people, and he is good at it. It's just so like really psychopathic. I don't know what the word is. It's just very strange.
Yeah, that's true. He likes to control and intimidate, and I'm the guy with the gun, and so nobody's ever listened to me for my whole life, but now you have to listen to me, right? Kind of vibes. So they give him the money. He insists that they come inside at gunpoint until they count it. Well, Roscoe and Coltrane are there. They're still hanging out. And the money's all there, can probably just take it easy and be done with it. But no, Billy escalates things and wants Guy to like promise that he's gonna leave Tim alone now. Which, why are you trying to get the word of Guy?
Yeah.
Like, what does that matter?
Yeah.
So it really escalates. They end up like fighting, have a physical altercation, and Billy and Tim eventually like bail and rush away and hop in the truck. And Tim, of course, can't get the truck started, and Guy is pointing a gun straight at their head as they jump the curb and drive away. But yeah, hopefully the Guy situation is over. I don't remember for sure.
I think it is, but I don't remember either.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, because we're 2 episodes now away from season 3, and season 3 is like a hard reset. So
yeah, that's true.
I'm pretty sure we don't see any more of Guy, but I guess we will see.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So let's say that the DEA comes in, busts up Guy's meth lab, takes him to jail, confiscates things. Roscoe and Coltrane need a new home. Would you take them in?
I think if for whatever reason, and here's an interesting thing, I guess now that you say that, because our property manager's wife, and our property manager and his wife live in the building, and our property manager's wife is like works for the Sioux Falls Police Department like with animal control. So this is a potential opportunity that could come to me. I would definitely like be like, oh yeah, if it's up to me, I would take them in. I've always had like an interest in ferrets. I think they're a very like sleek animal. It would just be convincing Angie. And I think that I could play the card of being like, remember when you wanted a hedgehog and I really didn't want a hedgehog, and then I ended up being the one who loved it. Like, maybe you'll be the one who really loves the ferrets. So I think there's a 60% chance that I take those ferrets, and yeah, nice. I kind of had a sneaking suspicion that you
you would be willing to give them a new home and give them a good life.
If it's just me, like for whatever reason, I'm single and I'm living in this apartment by myself, then yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Sleek. You used that word to describe ferrets when we were first introduced.
Yeah, they're just such a there's such a, I don't know, their bodies are just so fascinating. Like that's the best word I can come up with to describe them. They're just
it's so when this is a little bit off track, but when I spent a summer in Alaska with my buddy John Kewick, I don't know if do you remember John at all?
Yep.
Yeah, he was around off and on. We lived like 5 miles out of town of Seward, Alaska, and you had to go on this gravel road that went along the ocean. It was like a big bay area, but there was an otter, 2 otters that lived like right off this road. They were like in the same spot the entire time. Like every day you'd go past and they're the otters, and kind of the same deal. Like fascinating how sleek they are and how their bodies move, and they're just so like fluid and flowy and like they're vertebrates, but it almost seems like they don't have a spine.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I get you. Sure. I get you. Apparently otters and ferrets are predators and can be pretty vicious. Ferrets in the wild eat prairie dogs
for sure. Yeah.
But yeah, otters also, I mean, they mostly eat clams and stuff, but
I always pretty in junior high and high school, I always really, really wanted to get like a ferret. It was one of the few things that I like didn't go ahead and just defy my parents on. Probably because it would have had like permanent lasting consequences. But my mom actually, when she was pregnant with me, her roommate like had a ferret, I guess, and it bit her.
Oh, geez.
And she was like, for the rest of her life, just like she's still to this day. I shouldn't say that, like she's still alive. Like she still to this day is like very adamantly anti-ferret. But I always really wanted one. So it's interesting because she really, really hates them, and I've always had like an attraction toward them. So yeah, I just something to think about.
Well, you're living on your own now, and dang it, Michelle, you can have whatever pet you want.
Damn right.
All right, ferrets, pretty cool.
Yes.
We start the indie song ending scene that we usually have. Not so much of a montage this time around, but they do play a nice indie song to wrap up the episode. Did you get a beat on what it was?
Didn't.
No, I didn't either. But Mama, Smash, and Coach are waiting for Smash. It looks like a little intervention they're going to stage here. But they are waiting to break the news to Smash that they just found out that he's suspended for 3 games, which is basically the rest of the regular season.
Yeah.
Yep. So a lot is up in the air at this point. That's the end of the episode. The future of Smash, the future of the Dillon Panthers, all very uncertain at this point.
Yes.
So that's where we leave things. I believe we can take a little break here.
Yeah.
And come back and we'll get into the characters.
Sweet.
Okay, we're back. After our little break, we are going to talk about some characters here, get a little more in depth. I'm kind of thinking I want to talk about Tammy first. We're getting Tammy is our perennial MVP of the episode candidate. Yes. She's the moral compass of the entire show. We're getting a different side of Tammy here, and I'm curious, what do you think of the new Tammy? Do you support it? I feel like we get a little bit more in-depth view of it next episode, but if you're going just by this episode, how are you feeling about Tammy's new coaching venture?
Yeah, I'm in support of it. She seems to find some real meaning in it. She seems to be happy doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm all for it.
Yeah, she was looking for more opportunities to exercise anyway. She's out there taking care of that body. So yeah. It's weird seeing the competitive side of her come out. because I feel like she's often balancing the competitive side of Coach. And so she's taking on a lot more Coach Taylor qualities. Technically, she is Coach Taylor now, I guess. So
yes,
we might need to specify whether we're talking about Coach Eric Taylor or Coach Tammy Taylor. Yeah. So at this point, good for you, Tammy. Chase your dreams, unimaginable new heights for the Dillon volleyball team. Hopefully, state.
I don't know if they'll even be eligible. I think in the next episode, or is it this episode or the next episode that Julie mentions that they are like 1-12 or something like that. So
yeah, it was this one. Yeah. They're 1-12, but Coach Eric Taylor points out that Coach Tammy Taylor is
she's 1-0. Yeah.
Yep.
He accidentally says 1-1 right away and then changes it up.
It definitely seemed like that screw up definitely seemed like they were recording something in the moment, like with cheering and stuff, or like, just keep rolling. Just and so he just kept trying to fix it. Kyle Chandler did.
I think it came up as genuine for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So that's Tammy. Street. He's also got a new venture. What was Movie Dude 1's theme? I feel like people have new ventures.
Being left out or something like that.
Okay, interesting take. But now maybe I should write one about Tammy's new venture, Jason's new adventure with Garrity Motors, Landry's new venture with Nerd Gene.
Yeah, it was all about being left out.
Smash's new venture with sitting on the bench. But yeah, how do we feel? Who did I just say?
Jason Street.
Yeah. What do you think? Good development for Jason to be working for Buddy?
It definitely it's got to be awkward, but
right? We didn't even that didn't even come up in the episode.
Yeah, but I think that it's something that he does seem like he has the raw talent for. So
yeah,
I'm in favor of it so far because he's pretty successful.
Yeah, he gets inspired, and I feel like he has that competitive drive that is so strong in him and doesn't have an outlet because apparently quad rugby is just not a thing anymore.
Yeah, no, he doesn't care about it anymore because he didn't make the national team on his first attempt.
Try.
After being paralyzed for like 3 months.
Right. Moving on. But yeah, so he's finding an outlet for that in selling cars to Gerald. Landry has, man, Landry's such a weird dude. I don't know. He acts so weird towards Tyra. Like he wanted her so bad, and then now.
But I think it's good for him to have moved on and to have met a girl who is maybe a little bit more. Who holds the same interests as him, I think is the way that he's looking at it.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say like more actually in his league.
No, I'm. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder, Josh.
Yeah. I don't find Landry attractive at all. I'll put it that way. Yeah, Gene definitely seems more like a natural fit for him. Common interest wise, at least.
There's I think a bigger discussion to be held about this next episode, so I'm going to hold off saying too much. Yeah,
that's a good call. So that's his new venture with Gene. Smash, things are coming apart at the seams for Smash.
Yeah, his life is really falling apart, and it's hard to really place too much blame on him.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing is he put himself in that situation by lying and sneaking around, but the actual situation itself, like completely reasonable and even honorable the way that he handled it for his sister, and how I would hope my kids handle the situation for each other, you know?
Absolutely.
I don't condone violence for violence sake, but if somebody is talking that way to a sibling, I think you can go ahead and pop them in the lip once or twice,
sure.
you know, teach them a thing or two.
Speaking of your kids,
yeah,
I'm still awaiting with bated breath.
Yes,
the second episode of the Josh and Diamond podcast. But the next time that I see you guys, I've got this for Diamond.
She's gonna lose her mind. Sasha Banks, baby. Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, so for listeners of Reliving the Lights, my daughter, 5-year-old daughter, and I have an unofficial podcast where we look at her wrestling trading cards that she got for Christmas and talk about the pro wrestlers on them. Her favorite wrestler, Sasha Banks. She used her Tooth Fairy money recently to buy another pack of wrestling cards from Walmart. And so the second episode is us opening the pack and seeing what she got. And then we talk about who would date who would marry who from the wrestlers. And she's got a great, I'm
so excited to hear that
relationship that she puts together. So you don't know about that podcast, but you guys do know my editing time schedule. Yeah. So haven't put the latest one together yet, but you'll hear it soon. It's a good one. So we got Landry. Smash is not at a good place. Things are starting to unravel, but we respect him for what he did. Anyone else? Who else we got? Tim. He's finally maybe escaping the clutches of Guy.
Yeah, finally escaping the clutches of Guy, but also kind of getting his heart broken by Lila, who he, as it turns out, has developed real deep feelings for, and she is not feeling it. She has found her calling in being a mainstream Christian.
Yes, very mainstream, very happy clappy Christian. So I guess we feel for Tim in both of those situations, because he was kind of driven from his own home into the arms of Guy and is now suffering the consequences. And the dude finally has like real human deep feelings for someone, which I feel like is a new thing for him probably. And it's not going so well, so that's pretty rough. Anybody else?
Nobody else is coming to mind. Matt is kind of going through it with the loss of Carlota, but
we don't get a ton of him.
We don't get a ton of that yet.
No. Also, Coach Eric Taylor played a pretty small role in this episode.
Yeah, didn't do much.
Not a lot going on for Eric. So, I think we can pretty much wrap this section up. We'll take a little break and we'll come back for our weekly awards. Okay, we are back. We're going to give out some awards as we always do, and as we always start, we are going to start with the Coach Taylor Inspo rating. Now, we just left the last segment of the show saying Coach didn't do a whole lot.
Yeah.
So I don't know what we do with this. I feel like there's a little glimmer of inspiration at some point. Maybe just convincing Tammy.
But that was almost, I don't know if that was inspirational. It was more self-serving. I think Coach just didn't do enough this episode to really warrant a true rating. I think I'm just going to go with a flat 0.
Okay. I think that's fair. So I guess let's give out an honorable mention inspo rating this week, since we had so many different people kind of making inspiring moves. So let's not give it a rating, but let's pick the most inspirational character of the episode. I think we gotta nominate Buddy for his little pep talk he gives Jason.
I think we gotta nominate Jason Street.
Yep, for his pep talk to Gerald. And Tammy as a new coach, inspiring. Well, also, again, a little self-serving to get Tyra on the team,
right?
But inspiring the team and getting them to their first win of the season. So, Buddy, Jason, and Tammy, who was the most inspiring character this week?
To me, between those three is probably Jason Street. I think to see him take on this job that he had no experience for, that he was an actual, like, had an actual disadvantage because his coworkers were all hating him and lying to him, and he overcame all of that with maybe some, serious struggles, and he sold to the hardest nut to crack, as it were, at Garrity Motors, and has potentially found his calling.
Yeah, I agree. I would also say that was the most inspiring. I think I would give Buddy Garrity the next spot, because I really do think that Buddy knows what makes people tick to a certain point. And so it was kind of a pretty, I was going to say genius move. Let's not oversell it here.
Yeah.
For Buddy. But he did his job well. He's good at being a car salesman, and he's good at telling people what they need to hear. So that was pretty impressive. So Jason Street, you are our honorary inspiring figure this week, in lieu of Coach just kind of cruising, flying under the radar. Speaking of flying under the radar, Julie Taylor also did not have much going on here this episode.
Yeah, I think her snarkiness toward, like, she just kind of spent the episode, like, in the background just being annoyed. So, I mean, she was definitely hateable. I mean, her as Tyra's over, like, having dinner with them, and Tammy Taylor's like, "Oh, Tyra, you should join the team," and the whole time,
Mom, she doesn't
Julie's
care.
Julie's just ugh. And then she makes the comment of what are they, like 1 and 12 now, like, just snotty.
That's true. So she didn't have much going on, but what she did have going on was pretty hateable. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe a 2 or a 3.
Yeah, here. I was thinking 3 or 4. So let's go with a 3.
Let's go with a 3. Even when Julie is barely present, still hate her.
Yeah.
Big Rig Beer Tally, we had 1. Yep. So when they were discussing the stock market,
yes.
Like a couple of Wall Street bros, Bill Riggins. Why did I say Bill? Oh, Billy
Riggins. Yeah.
Yeah. Tim was knocking one back. So we'll add 1 to the beer tally this week. The Alamo Freeze presents the Matt Saracen Aw Shucks Goofus Maloofus moment of the week. We didn't have a ton of Matt either.
No, there was very, very little Matt in this episode.
He was at Applebee's. That's
it.
The main occurrence that I can think of. So nothing there. Buddy Garrity sleazeball move of the week. He really wasn't very sleazy.
No, he only had the one scene where he gave Jason the pep talk. I think the sleaziest thing was him maybe seeing dollar signs in his eyes when he thought of Jason being a salesman for him.
Yeah. Was he?
I think maybe it was a self-serving thing to get Jason to work for him.
Yeah. Do you think he liked the idea of a guy in a wheelchair trying to sell?
A hometown hero athlete in a wheelchair?
Yeah.
Trying to sell cars.
Well, absolutely. I mean, he tried to exploit Henry Saracen being a service member or vet or whatever. So yeah, we'll put exploiting Jason for personal benefit. Notable music cues. You marked 1 down, didn't you?
Yeah, I did have 1, which was Your World by David Shepard Grossman.
Never heard of that guy.
Same.
I don't believe I was aware of any outdated pop culture references.
I didn't notice any. Let me think for a second. No.
Maybe the sizzling apple pie, if that is
might be it.
In the menu of Applebee's, which seems like something that might get phased out.
It sounded more like a limited time offer for sure. I'm gonna just quick Google it.
Yeah. Ooh, you can get it. Oh, it comes up on the Google suggestions. Sizzling apple pie, Applebee's. Looks like there's currently a sizzling caramel apple blondie on the menu at Applebee's.
Oh yeah. I found a recipe for the sizzling apple pie on Pinterest.
Yep.
From 2012.
So it probably is.
We got a Facebook post in the Google searches from 2013. See if you can read that back.
Bring back the sizzling apple pie. Your name is Applebee's. Why would you get rid of the apple dessert? Best dessert in the world. Stupid mistake. I won't be back. Kayla was pretty upset.
Yeah.
So it's gone. So I would say that's our outdated pop cultural reference of the week.
Yep, that's gotta be it.
Your name is Applebee's. Why would you get rid of the apple dessert? Exclamation point, exclamation point. Hopefully Kayla has discovered the sizzling caramel apple blondie, and that has maybe, helped ease the pain.
Brought her back. Yeah. There were also a couple of metal bands that Gene referenced that I think may have been by this point outdated, but I don't know enough about metal.
The thing with metal bands is that they usually just hang around until they're 70 playing. Like think about Slayer or whatever. Those dudes are in their 60s.
Metallica, War.
Yeah. So
Anthrax, they're still around.
Mm-hmm.
Megadeth.
Okay. Megadeth. Yeah. All right. Our quote of the episode. I didn't write much down here.
I didn't either. Check the IMDb. I feel like the quotes have been really weak in season 2. Like there hasn't been anything very memorable. I got nothing.
Okay. I liked one that I wrote down that we didn't talk about. When Tim was at volleyball practice and just amazed at how bad they were sucking, he yells out over the net to the volleyball team, which I thought was pretty funny. I don't know if it's a quote of the episode. Good, but
I think maybe the nerdy metal conversation between Landry and Gene, that was, I think, probably the most memorable.
Yeah. I would nominate Jason's speech to Gerald.
Yeah, that was pretty good too.
It was kind of funny. So, all right. So if you're listening, take your pick between some of those. Not a strong episode, and like we said, not really a strong season, really, for quotes. I mean, when Coach Taylor doesn't even register on the inspo rating, you're gonna have a hard time coming up with memorable quotes. So, our MVP of the episode.
I gotta say maybe Jason Street is who I'm gonna nominate.
Yeah. He overcomes here. He rises up and succeeds in a new challenging venture for him. So I think that's a good nomination. I think once again we can always make the argument for Tammy.
Of course. She also had a strong episode, of course.
Yep. She takes hold of a hard situation and turns it around right from the start. So that's good. I think it's between those two, and I do like Jason more in this situation. So
yeah,
this might be our first Jason Street MVP episode. So that's exciting.
If I had to guess, I would say it probably is. Yeah.
All right, our episode rating. Finally, I'm not feeling too high on this episode.
To be honest with you, I watched this episode 4 weeks ago is when I took my notes. Due to a miscommunication, I thought we were going to record it and we didn't. Yeah. And then I moved, so we took several weeks off.
Yeah.
And I rewatched it last night and went over it with my notes just to be oh, I can throw something in.
Uh-huh.
And I threw nothing additional in, and I literally I thought, oh, I have the excuse that I don't really remember much about this episode because I watched it 4 weeks ago, but then I watched it again last night and I still don't remember much about it. So
yeah,
this is maybe a 5.5.
Yeah, I think this is an all-time low so far I think we've given out a 5 before. I'm happy with just a 5. It was fine.
I'm all right with that. Yep.
Very there's not a lot that actually impacts the show except for we find out that Smash is suspended, but that's literally one scene where finally, like, okay, he's suspended and now they're screwed. Other than that, like, nothing. So it's a 5. Not bad. Not great. As always, we'll remind you that even when Friday Night Lights is not good, it's still
at its lowest.
It's still a great show. It's
still average.
Yes. All right, so that's about it.
Shout out to our listeners in the West Indies.
Yeah, as always. All of you in Jamaica and other various West Indian places, thank you for listening. We appreciate you. Wherever you're at, we appreciate you. Thanks for listening. Check us out on Twitter. Rate us and review us. All those things help, but most of all, we're just glad you're with us. Glad you're enjoying Friday Night Lights with us.
We're glad you're listening. Thank you.
All right, we will see you next week for another episode of Reliving the Lights.
Let's touch God this time, boys. Let's touch God.